looking at the Campagnoli number 6 viola etude. I'm just going to walk through some things that I noticed when I was reading this for the first time, hoping to help you guys as you're reading it for the first time, come up with some practice strategies and some things that might be confusing based on the markings. So first thing to notice is this piece is in G minor, not B flat major. However, I would actually practice both keys as far as when I'm doing the scale study before I warm up for this piece. So I would do I would start with B flat major, do some B flat major scales and arpeggios, and then I would switch to G minor. When you practice minor, do harmonic minor, which is the one that has the lowered 6th and the raised 7th, meaning E flat to F sharp. I would practice that scale and then do lots of arpeggio work as well. Get really familiar with the keys, so that way you're not trying to figure out the notes so much. You already have it in your ear when you start going through this piece. Another thing to think about is when you're practicing this, the tempo marking is from 44 to 50, but that's giving you the quarter note. I would not set your metronome at quarter notes when you're practicing this piece. I would definitely set your metronome at eighth notes. When I'm reading this piece for the first time, I would start with the eighth note at maybe 70 or maybe even 80, and then you gradually get it fast up to tempo. And remember, speed is not what you're going for here. My William Primrose edition of this etude actually says 48 is tempo, so if you start at 96, it's a good eighth note tempo for this piece. All right, so you start in third position, measure 2, you're in second position, you just shift back for that C sharp. Something to notice, measure 2, that is an E flat. When I first played this, I wanted to play that grace note like this. That's not what it is. So make sure you're playing an E flat. That's just something that I missed when I was going through this for the first time. And errata to notice, measure 4 going into measure 5, that D to C sharp, split that slur. So the C sharp is an up bow. Okay. In measure 6, just something to notice, when I played this the first time, I was tempted, my ear told me to play a D flat because I had just played that C sharp. Just make sure you got that spacing, whole step to half step. Alright, and then you're in third position in measure 7, second, and then measure 8, please don't play an open D, please use a third finger D there in second position, just so we can do some vibrato and make that sound really nice. Okay. Alright, measure 9 will be definitely a measure to spend some time on. You've got that up bow stroke, you want to make sure you've engaged that first finger. Right, practice that stroke a lot. And then it's pretty simple fingering. As far as when to shift, I would shift from C to D to third position, and then 2, 2, 3. That way you're in third position for that G. All right, so 1, 2, 2, 3. Starting on D. Okay. In the next measure, measure 10, I would stay in third position through the entire measure until the very last note. And that's just so you get the first note at measure 11. So I'm going to actually shift from third position to second. So 3 on the B flat, 2 on the G, 1 on the F, and then back to third. Back to third position, okay? Through beat 2 of measure 11, there's a fingering written in that's kind of interesting. For the G, A flat, A natural, B, the fingering that's written in is actually 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason is because that trill, you're going to want to be second position. Honestly, I find that a little awkward. I would actually go 1, 2, 2, 3, and then just shift. I find that's a little more reliable for myself. Try both of them out and decide what works better for you. Okay? All right, measure 13, 15, and 22 are going to be measures you need to spend a lot of time on, and it's all about the bow. It's not about the double stop. The double stop is not that difficult. You can get it without too much work. The trick is getting the bow to be really smooth on the D string while you're hitting those notes in the lower string. So I would of course start open strings. Don't even worry about fingers right now. And I would do 2 things. First, I would chunk, and by chunk what I mean is pulsing the 8th note pretty much. So it'll sound like this. Practice getting that double stop while still having the D string sound, but you're also hitting that G string. Okay, then I would smooth it out, and that's something that I need to work on as well. But practice getting it really smooth, and then add the fingers. When you add the fingers, go back to chunking it, and then back to smooth. So really get that really smooth. Make sure that upper note is very even. You don't lose the sound as you're playing that. Measure 16, beat 3, just a note, when I was reading through this, I missed this note, and I just wanted to point it out to you guys. And that is the E flat. Because you play an F sharp right before it, you're probably going to be tempted to play an E natural. You're going to want to play this. Right? But you got to play an E flat. That's just something that I missed a couple times. I want to make sure that you guys were aware of it and you didn't miss it as well. The second note of measure 19, that is a harmonic. So just a harmonic, easy one to find. So you don't have to worry about playing that note. It's not a real note, it's a harmonic. Measure 21. Just be aware you're alternating between second and third position. So just most of it's in third, but you start in second and you shift back like to second to get that C sharp one. So just make sure you're aware of that. Another errata is measure 22. That one, you actually split halfway in the middle of the measure. So you actually, in the Primrose edition, you don't get to do this, but in this edition you do. You actually get to play that A as an open A. And I'm gonna have to practice that myself, but basically, you keep the trill going, and then you switch bows on beat 3, and then you just hit that grace note, and then get that last note as an up bow. Okay, so the next E flat in measure 23 is a down bow. Okay, all right, for the double stops, our favorite thing is double stops. We love them, especially thirds. Thirds are my arch enemy. I love sixths, but thirds are just not my friend. Anyway, so first off, practice them all separate bows very, very slowly. Be aware of major third versus minor third, also for sixth. Major third versus minor sixth. Make sure you're getting that spacing really, really clean. And then, once you got that really solid, you have your fingers know where they're going, something you're going to have to really focus on is actually getting this line smooth. It's very easy to be choppy. It's hard to smooth it out. So one strategy for doing that is it's easier to focus on one note than two. So put your fingers down for both notes, but only play one of them. Good. So then you can focus on the intonation of that one note, as well as getting the bow very smooth. And do it for the bottom note too. And then you put them together, it's a little easier. It's a little easier to be smoother. So that's just a strategy for practicing those double stops there. Okay? Well, that's basically what I've got for you. Hopefully that answers a few of your questions and give you an idea of how to practice this etude. I will be posting recordings, the professional recordings of this etude, as well as my own little clips at different tempos so you can practice along with me. Good luck!